Hi everyone, today we're going to be going over the Bitcoin miner difficulty chart and how you can use this tool to help improve your Bitcoin investing and analysis. This chart, as well as many others, are all freely available on lookintobitcoin.com, your number one source for Bitcoin information. If you haven't already, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to ensure you're receiving all of our content as soon as it's released. So what is the Bitcoin miner difficulty chart? Well, as it sounds, it is plotting the current difficulty for miners to secure the Bitcoin network. So if you weren't already aware, the way the Bitcoin blockchain works is about every 10 minutes or so, a new block is what's called mined by Bitcoin miners. And these blocks contain a multitude of transactions to allow the Bitcoin network to operate as a peer-to-peer currency. So to actually create these blocks that are going to operate on the Bitcoin blockchain, we rely on miners to use their computational power to calculate and create these Bitcoin blocks. Now, these blocks are created by almost solving a puzzle that requires a certain solution before these blocks can be created. So if we just scroll down to the Bitcoin hash rate chart here and open this up, if we have a look, it actually has an almost one-to-one correlation with the Bitcoin miner difficulty. Now, this is the case as the miner difficulty is adjusted to always try and keep a steady rate of new blocks entering the Bitcoin blockchain. So we try and create blocks around every 10 minutes. And to try and keep this consistent, the miner difficulty is adjusted every 2016 blocks. And if you calculate that, that works out at about every 2 weeks. So if there's 2016 blocks are mined considerably faster than the average 2-week period, then the Bitcoin miner difficulty is increased to try and keep the flow of new Bitcoin entering the space at a very steady inflationary rate. And the same is true for the downside. If we see the miner difficulty decrease, this is because the average block time of the previous 2 weeks or 2016 blocks is increased substantially. And this is due to the Bitcoin hash rate decreasing. So at this point, the miner difficulty is reduced to make it easier to mine blocks, and therefore the miners have an easier job of actually mining and creating these Bitcoin blocks. So just as a very quick and simple analogy of how you can visualize how this difficulty is adjusted, if you imagine a number of dice, so in this example, just 3 dice, and if you had to roll beneath a set number that was created by the dice. So if we took the first dice to signify the 100 value, the second dice to signify the value of 10, and the final dice to signify the last integer we'd actually set. So this has a total potential value, a highest maximum of 666, as each 6-sided die can roll up to a 6, and it has a minimum of 111, as each dice has a minimum roll of 1. So for example, if the Bitcoin difficulty was set at 555 using this dice analogy, and you rolled a 3, 4, 1 as we have here, that would be beneath this 555 maximum, and therefore the block would be created. If we were rolling the dice every few seconds, let's say, and we were actually accomplishing this difficulty far too frequently, then this difficulty, this number we'd see here, would reduce. So for example, if we reduced it to 455, it reduces our chances of successfully rolling a suitable solution of dice. And again, this would still be solved. So if we then reduced it fairly substantially to a value of 255, we can see the actual dice we rolled here, the 3, 4, 1, wouldn't satisfy the necessary solution for this block, and it would be rejected. So we'd have to roll again. And this is a very simple way to visualize the Bitcoin miner difficulty, because in reality it is considerably more complex than this fairly simple analogy. If you imagine having to throw dozens of dice all with tens of sides, it gets considerably more difficult to do. But you can see the general methodology here of rolling dice every few seconds to try and solve this solution, compared to the Bitcoin hash rate, which is calculating trillions of times every single second to try and solve a very complex solution. So just to summarize, the Bitcoin miner difficulty chart shows us the changes occurring in the mining difficulty that miners are experiencing. We can see that miner difficulty is a statistical measurement that identifies how many hashes or current calculations need to be generated to find a valid solution to solve the next Bitcoin block. And miners that are actually able to find the solution to solving this block earn the mining reward, which is both the transaction fees of the Bitcoin network as well as a mining reward in terms of new Bitcoin entering the network. And unlike traditional fiat currencies, which rely on central governments to issue out new currency as well as set the inflationary rate, Bitcoin's code is algorithmically calculating the difficulty depending on the amount of competition in the network to ensure a steady mining of blocks to approximately once every 10 minutes. So every 2 weeks, every 2016 blocks, we get a new miner difficulty rating to try and keep this at a very steady rate. If you like this video, then please visit lookintobitcoin.com. By sharing valuable Bitcoin data through visual storytelling, charts, and information, we want to be the best publicly available resource on the internet for Bitcoin data. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to learn about all our other charts and gain even more market insights. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.